Welcome to Best Wellness Interviews, where successful people share their strategies on, their health and well-being and how they get through challenges. Welcome to my show, Alan Edwards.
Good morning, Kristine. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for being here. I'm really happy to have you on my show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Would you like to share a little about who you are and what you do for work, what you love to do for work, because I think you enjoy what you do?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I when I look back at what I have done and what I currently do, the thing that I've enjoyed most is sport and athletics. But along the way, I've always been working as well, ever since I was 16 years old, and I work in property. I started off working for a small local building company, and I progressively developed my capabilities, my skills, and gradually worked on bigger projects, more widespread in the world. I worked on some massive projects in the UK and then also in the Middle East, in Azerbaijan, in the Bahamas. I've done a project in Botswana, another one in Macedonia, a railway project there. I ended up working for a very well-known consulting engineer called Arup. Arup Project Management was the arm of Ove Arup and Partners, the famous engineering company. So I consider myself very fortunate to have worked on some really interesting work, to have worked for some really great leaders in my time in different environments. And all along the way, I've kept up with sport and particularly athletics. Running is my pleasure, and that's what I still do every day, practically every day. As a pastime, it helps to keep me fit physically, and also I believe it helps me mentally as well.
I'm sure it does,
Mm.
most definitely. So tell
Mm.
me about the type of work that you're doing now, because it's got a special um, aspect to it.
Yeah, we're just about to complete the purchase of a closed down nursing home in the west of England. It's about 12,000 square feet, and that will convert into eight one-bedroom flats and five one-bedroom bungalows. And these are for vulnerable or disabled people who the local council, need to house on a long-term basis. So these will be long-term homes for people, and there'll be people who need care. So they don't need full-time care. So they're not living with a carer, but the carer comes in as and when required every day. Yeah, it's a good way of people living independently, but also getting the benefit of visiting carers. So it's actually quite a good win-win model, because the individual gets their own flat, 45 square meters, so it's a reasonable size flat, and they get the benefit of having visiting care. And also, the way this is done, it's actually quite economic for the local council to do it this way. It's the most economic way of providing the care to those vulnerable people.
That's a really good model, but that's not the only uh, sort of, I guess, way of dealing with you, because you are actually easing the housing crisis in England,
Yes, yeah,
right?
that's right. Yeah, we take old buildings that aren't used or maybe are underused, and we convert them into flats. So that's the case with this housing for vulnerable people. Those 13 flats, 13 residential units will be used to house vulnerable people. But if they weren't used to house vulnerable people, they could be used in the future for, ordinary people. But as it happens, this is a 25-year lease on this particular building.
Hmm.
There's another building that we're converting, two buildings actually side by side, in Alton in Hampshire, not far from where I live. And these are two grade two listed buildings. So they're very handsome looking buildings from the Georgian period. They've got brick facades with lovely windows, Georgian windows, which are the ones with the small panes in. And uh, they have been used as offices, but they're empty. They have been empty for some time because people don't want offices these days in that sort of building. They prefer more purpose-built modern buildings. And so what's happening with these, we're converting those two buildings into five flats in one case and four flats in the building next door. So nine flats in all. And this is a sort of repurposing back to their original purpose, which was residential. They were both merchants' houses. So in those days, sort of 150 years ago, when they were built, there was the main family, and then their servants would have been living in the same house. So one is 3,500 square feet, and the other one is 3,000 square feet. So bigger than you would want as a home these days. I mean, you could have a big home, but it's more efficient for society to have a number of flats, like nine flats, rather than two big merchants' houses.
Well, a lot of people don't want to live in a big house anyway
No,
because
no,
they don't
exactly.
want the maintenance of all
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
yards and things. But if
yeah,
it's a combined effort with everyone pitches
yeah.
in to make sure that the well, I suppose it becomes not torrens, what's the other one? Like a strata arrangement where
Yeah,
everybody contributes to the maintenance
yeah,
of
yeah.
the place.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay. Well,
you know,
I think that's really good because with the first project you described, it's actually incorporating wellness for
yeah,
those people.
yes, yeah,
And in fact, even just housing ordinary people, it takes the stress off them trying to find a place to live. And
oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
that once again, it does have an aspect of wellness to it. And I guess
definitely,
you get rewards, like it makes you feel good that you're doing a service
definitely,
to
yes.
ease the problem there.
Yeah, there's a
And
social purpose to what we do, and that's it makes it even more satisfying. I
yeah,
mean, to create homes is one plus, and then to do it for vulnerable people, knowing that they're going to be housed for the long term, is also very satisfying as well.
yeah. So that's very interesting because I haven't heard of that being done anywhere else at this point.
Mm,
So it's
mm,
quite a unique thing because the people who've got a vacant property are
yeah.
not getting their return. And
No,
then,
no, exactly. And we solve property problems. So anyone who's got an empty property, one that's needing repurposing, that's exactly what we do.
yeah, so they get their income
Yes, yes.
and you're solving a different problem as well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we create wealth from what we do. We
Hmm.
create wealth for the owner of the property by repurposing it, and then we also create wealth for investors who might want to invest with us, and they get a
In
good
that
return.
project. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. Yep. That's a
yeah.
win-win-win, as you said before.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So that's very good. But you also do projects in Europe and
Yes, at the moment we're
where's the other
looking.
place? There was another place
Hmm,
it was a castle
Azerbaijan.
or something.
Oh,
Azerbaijan,
oh
yeah.
yes. The castle is the one in Slovenia. That
Slovenia,
so
yeah.
yeah, we're looking for a project there, and there is an old castle in the area of Lake Bled, which is one of the most beautiful parts of Slovenia. It's the place where all of the tourists go. First uh, stop almost is to see this fairy tale castle overlooking a beautiful lake, and then within the lake there's a monastery on a little island in the
Mm.
lake, and it's just like a perfect setting. No matter what time of year you go there, it's just outstandingly beautiful. So I must show you the pictures of that. But what
I'd
we're
love
looking
to see them.
for,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, is to refurbish a castle in the area and to make it into high quality accommodation. And the plus point that we're going to add, which will add to the revenue earning capability is to make the restaurant attached to the hotel into a destination restaurant. So what this will do is it will attract tourists, and it will also attract local people to eat in the restaurant, and also it'll make people who stay in the hotel more likely to eat in the hotel. They'll get a guaranteed reservation at the restaurant in the hotel. But it will feature a named chef, and it will have a good appropriate design for a Slovenian castle. I mean, it's going to be to do with the history of Slovenia and the environment of Slovenia.
Mm.
And I don't know if you know anything about Slovenia, but they
No, I
they
don't know.
have a big emphasis on growing their own vegetables, making their own wine. Practically everything you can buy to do with diet is grown in Slovenia, and it's grown traditionally, using methods they've been using for years. It's a quite a strong culture. It's only a small country with a
Mm.
population of a couple of million, but they've managed to retain this very strong culture and sort of bonds with their sort of heritage. So it's a really interesting country. If ever you get the chance to go there, it's
Oh,
well
that's
worth
on my bucket list now.
it, right?
Yeah, it sounds like a wonderful place to visit. I'd love that
Well,
homegrown,
hopefully we'll have
homemade
a
food.
hotel you can stay at there soon.
Yes, sounds fantastic. Okay, so you've not had a smooth ride all the time in your life, have you? Do you want to tell us a little
No.
about some of the challenges you've had?
Yeah, sure. I mean, a couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. So it was a bit of a surprise because I never imagined that I would get cancer, and also it had developed, quite far as well. But fortunately for me, it hadn't got into the bone. So I've been having radiation treatment at the hospital. Excellent treatment here in the Royal Surrey Hospital in Guildford, near where I live. And then I'm still on medication, which actually helps to keep the cancer at bay. What basically you have to do is to eradicate the testosterone, which the cancer feeds on. And so the treatment that I have, the medication is designed to keep the testosterone low, and basically give me hormone treatment to ensure that that's the case. So I have regular blood tests, and every 12 weeks I have another batch of medicine. And yesterday I had a hormone injection into my stomach, which sort of gradually releases this just think of the name of the medication. I can't think of the name of it. And enzalutamide is one of the medications I take. Solitron is another one. That was the injection yesterday. So this slowly releases the hormones over the next 12 weeks, and then I have another injection in
Mm.
another 12 weeks. So yeah, so that was a bit of a setback, I confess, because I'd always thought of myself as being
Fit?
reasonably fit and
Yeah.
healthy, and I never imagined that I would get cancer, but I did. So, just had to deal with it.
So how did that feel at the time when you were first
Hmm.
diagnosed? How did you talk about the symptoms perhaps that you experienced for it? Because our viewers might be experiencing those and they can
Yeah,
detect
yeah,
it early.
sure.
Mm.
Sure, yeah, it's to do with basically toilet function. So urine and feces and so on, it has effects on that. So
Okay.
you've got uh, either difficulty with passing water, or sometimes urgency of need to use the toilet and stuff like that. So sort of pretty embarrassing stuff. Not the sort of stuff you want to really talk about too
Mm.
much, but that's the reality of it. And so it was only because of these sort of unusual occurrences that I went to the doctor at my wife's insistence. Otherwise, I probably would have carried on. The cancer would have got worse, got into my bone, and it would have been terminal. But
Mm,
fortunately, I went to the doctor. I think it was around about April 23, uh,
mm.
when I actually got the diagnosis, and it it was confirmed in June 23, so 2.25 years ago, that I'd actually got this prostate cancer and this stage of development. And as I say, fortunately, although it was advanced, it wasn't so advanced that it would be terminal.
Well, that was
Mm.
fortunate that your wife
Yeah.
insisted.
Yes.
So, but how did you feel at the time that that was, that you got that diagnosis?
Yeah, well, I suppose that being the sort of person I am, I just sort of carried on as normal and just thought, well, I'll take this in my stride and get over it. Do whatever I have to do. And I'd heard about the radiation treatment, being quite difficult effects on the body, and that was true. It was difficult going through the radiation treatment, and I did notice more tiredness when I was doing the radiation treatment. I had very intensive radiation treatment for about a month, and then that basically cleared the cancer, and then it's a matter of the medication actually keeping the cancer at bay. So, my fitness, I have noticeably deteriorated since the radiation treatment, and with taking the medication, but I still run regularly, and I still aspire to actually getting back to the sort of fitness that I was at. So, yeah, you just need to learn to manage the situation. It would be very easy to uh, sort of give up hope and say, "Oh, well, I feel tired because of the radiation treatment. I can't do anything." But I actually found that the exercise was quite a sort of solace for me, in that I know that exercise always makes me feel better.
Mm.
So I wanted to do more of it. Like I did before I knew I had cancer, I would always run every day practically. And I wanted to carry on doing that right through this treatment.
So, that takes a pretty strong mindset. You handled it really well, where a lot of people would not handle it quite so well. So,
Mm.
what kind of, like, okay, so you said you did the things that you love to do, which is running. What
Mm.
else could you say to somebody who doesn't run, say? What
Yeah,
do you think, how do you think that they should um, try and think, and what kind of strategy
yes.
would you have for them?
Yeah, well, it is quite difficult because one of the side effects of this medication that I'm on is you get a constant low mood. And I did notice this, and I did have quite a bit of difficulty dealing with it.
Mm.
And so what you find is that your mind can maybe think in ways that it wouldn't normally.
Yeah.
And so um, whereas normally I'm quite sort of positive and forward looking, I found myself dwelling on things that had happened in the past that I couldn't change. And so I would say to anyone who does have a cancer diagnosis, certainly focusing on um, sort of your mental health is also very important. Um, I was taking antidepressants as part of this package of medication
Mm.
because of the low mood, they give you the antidepressants. But
Right.
what I found was that the antidepressants also made me feel anxious. So I discussed it with the doctor, and a few months ago I stopped taking the antidepressants, and I prefer to just manage the low mood with my own sort of capabilities, rather than go through the
The
antidepressants
drugs.
as well,
Yep.
which weren't. really helping. They were just making me feel more anxious, and so I'm sort of coping with it without the antidepressants, and
Right.
just focusing on mindset and mental health and
Yeah.
positive thinking. I've done more than 1,000 days now of positivity, so I keep a daily log of positivity every day, and I just got past 1,000 days, so that's about 2.25 years, which is when this condition was confirmed.
Wow. Yeah, that's that's pretty good. I think that people who are uh, regular exercises, people, because I would
Mm.
call you an athlete. You were performing at a fairly high level, weren't you?
Yes, yes,
Competing.
yeah, I was. Yeah,
So
I was
I find
competing at
that
a high level. Yeah.
people like you handle challenges better. You have a more positive frame of mind. Your
Mm.
average person who doesn't push themselves, because it
Mm.
takes a certain mindset to push yourself to that level anyway, right?
Yes, definitely.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you've got a strong mindset. You've trained it. It's like a muscle. You can train it.
Yes.
Whereas
Yes.
your average person who just goes to work, comes home to the family,
Mm.
and they don't push themselves in any
Mm.
sport or anything like that, they would have trouble probably getting through the low points, and
Yes.
their
Yeah.
mind would be playing havoc with them, and they haven't trained that muscle. I say
Yeah.
muscle because
Yes.
it's trainable,
Yes.
but they haven't trained that, so they would have a more difficult time.
Yeah.
So yeah, focusing on their mental health, I think that's a very good
Mm.
suggestion that they should follow through on. Um, so what else do you do apart from that? Do you have any hobbies or
Um,
other things that you do in your life other than work and running?
yeah. I do enjoy uh, taking a break with my wife. We go to the coast on a Sunday usually because most other days are busy. But we used to walk a lot, and I think we'll get back into walking in the countryside. We're very fortunate. We live in a quite a leafy sort of green area where there's lots of forests and different pathways you can take in any direction. So we also go to the coast, which is not far away, which we enjoy. So yeah, I think I'll probably be doing more walking. I also like painting and art, so I just
Okay.
did a little bit fairly recently, but that's a hobby that I'd like to get back into. And I've also got an ambition to learn a musical instrument as soon as I can get out of this sort of workload I've got from the sort of work that I do. So I plan to be more of an investor rather than actively involved in these projects that I do. And that's the plan, within a fairly short space of time that I'll be able to delegate things to my team and step back and
Right.
just enjoy what I really enjoy is cycling, running, swimming, walking. Yeah, anything that involves getting
Physical.
outside in the
Yeah.
in the fresh air. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I
I
do.
can relate to that. Yeah. And what else? Is there anything else that you do that are bigger than you projects,
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah, I work with Elena Apalkova on a charity for orphans in Ukraine, and
very good.
yeah, there are 35,000 or so Ukrainian orphans who are in different places and who need caring for once this terrible war is over.
Are
And
they orphans because of the war?
yes, most of them.
Mostly?
Yes, yeah, yeah, that's right, because
Because
parents being
Elena
killed.
herself is from Ukraine
Yes,
originally,
yeah,
and
yes, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
for her
So,
safety, she left there, right?
yes,
And
exactly. In
took her
about
mother with her.
20 minutes with her mum and her daughter.
Mm.
So, can you imagine having to leave your house with just basically what you've got on your back and nothing else in 20
Yeah.
minutes, and
Wow.
somebody invading your country?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be
Mm,
extremely
yeah.
difficult. And it's very sad that the innocent people and little children are the ones that are suffering from, you know.
Yes, yes, and some of them are treated terribly by Russia as well. Some of them have been kidnapped and basically taken to Russia. It doesn't even bear thinking about,
Uh,
what might be going on. But essentially, that's our purpose, is to help these 35,000 orphans. We've got a charity called Thousand Little Stars of Ukraine. That's one charity for Ukraine that I support, and then I've got another friend, Andre, who's also from Ukraine. He was here yesterday, and he took a load of emergency supplies that we got, like bedding, sleeping bags, medication, sort of any sort of stuff that you might need if you had some sort of emergency. And he
mm,
took a van load of that away with him, and he's going to send that to Ukraine via Poland.
mhm.
Um, and I've got another friend, Paul McCown, who helps a charity for Ukrainian youngsters. They're not orphans, but they
They're being
participate.
traumatized, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm. So
So
you're quite involved in helping all these
yes,
charities, these
yes.
people.
And also with the church as well locally, my wife helps a lot with the church doing different meals and lunches for older people and so on. So between us,
Very big
you know,
in the community.
yeah.
Awesome. I find that successful people, and when I say successful, I don't necessarily mean rich and famous. I mean people who have worked hard to achieve their goals in life, they're successful. You know,
Mm,
they don't have to be huge goals,
yeah.
but successful people contribute back
Yes,
to the community in some way.
definitely. Yes,
Yep.
yes, I agree. Yeah, and yeah, I'd like to do a lot more because as the company grows,
Hmm.
we'll have more charitable causes that we can support. So definitely we want to give back more as we create more wealth from this property journey that we're on,
Mm.
because we can share the benefits of that in society.
No, I think that's wonderful. I really, good on you. So, is there anything, well, actually, what kind of diet would you say you've got? I mean, you particular about what you put in your body?
Uh, yes, yes, reasonably so. I wouldn't say that I'm on a strict diet, but my wife and I eat healthily. You know, uh, probably I've got a tendency to eat more sweet things, which is not good for the cancer.
No,
So I keep avoiding that and reducing it. But generally, we just got a balanced diet. We eat fish quite a lot. We don't go in for a lot of red meat, so it tends to be white meat or fish. I mean, really, uh, to be honest, I don't mind having more salad and more vegetarian type food as well. So yeah, just a balanced, healthy diet, but not too extreme. I'm not on
you're not
any.
obsessed.
No, no.
You know, there was a guy that I don't know him personally, but somebody I know knew this person. He was tested for a balance of his essential nutrients, the omega-6,
Mm,
omega-3 oils, and his
mm,
balance was 100 and something to 1, and it's
right.
supposed to be under 3 to 1. And this
Wow.
guy was a vegan, and you would,
Yeah.
well, he thought he had a healthy diet,
Right.
but even, you know, eating lots of vegetables and fruits and things, nuts and
Yeah.
seeds and all that kind of thing, he wasn't
Mm,
what you would call, he was actually at risk of chronic diseases.
right.
The
Yeah.
higher up that imbalance goes, the
Yeah.
more at risk you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you can run the risk of osteoporosis as well, can't you, if you don't have enough calcium in your
That's
intake?
right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. There's a yeah. There are essential nutrients that your body needs, and
Mm.
you have to get them in your diet. That's why a varied diet is much better.
Yeah.
And you don't have to eat huge amounts of meat, but meat is has great. It's a great source of iron, and because
Mm.
you're eating fish, you're also getting some of those essential nutrients that your body can't make.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and you're in a good region anywhere in the UK and the Scandinavian countries, they have a ready supply of deep sea or
Yeah.
uh, wild fish and not farmed
Yes.
fish. Whereas in
Yes.
Australia, our salmon and any of those kind of delicacies of fish, they're farmed fish.
Oh, really? I didn't realize
And
that.
farmed fish have zero omega-3s in them. So they
Really?
don't have the yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're
Yeah.
not eating the algae, they're not feeding on the
Yeah. Yeah.
algae. They're
Yeah.
fed a man-made diet. So
Yeah.
people don't realize these kinds of things. So it's really,
Mm.
so the fact that you eat a lot of fish is
Mm.
probably giving you those essential nutrients that you need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, so is there anything else that you would like to add um, at this
Mm.
point of our interview, Alan?
Yeah, I think this issue about managing your thoughts is so important. I've learned a lot from Elena Palkova about that and about not letting negative thoughts sort of dominate what you do. It has been a difficult period this last couple of years, and so I have struggled, from time to time. Um, I've always remained positive, but um, you do need to work at remaining positive. So that's the only thing I would just say that you can manage your thoughts. As you were saying, you can train your muscle of your mind, and that is so important. And I think it's something that's really helped me during this last couple of years. It would be too easy to say, oh well, I can't ever get back to the level of training that I was doing. But I think that if I apply myself and if I focus, with the right effort and the right uh, way of thinking and the right physical application as well, I can still attain a good level of fitness, and I do intend to do some more what's called masters athletics. So you get these meetings, different places around the world where you get different ages of athletes and you
Mhm.
compete against other athletes in your age category. So I went to the World Championships in 2000 in Sweden, sorry, in Finland that was. And I competed there, and I'd like to get back into this sort of cycle of doing masters athletics because it gives me a lot of satisfaction, and also you meet some really interesting people when you go to these sort of events.
I was thinking exactly that you would meet
Right.
amazing people. All these people of older age who are
Yeah.
maintaining their fitness levels.
Yes, yes, and you do hear some remarkable stories about people who are, even in their 90s and they're still running, still competing, and so on. And it is quite remarkable.
Yeah. And it's
Mm.
amazing what the human body can actually do when you've given it the right
Yeah.
circumstances to stay
Yes.
healthy.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And I've been very fortunate as well. Although I've had, some minor injuries, I've never had any serious injuries that have prevented me from running or doing anything really. So, I just want to do more of the sport, more of the fitness, more sort of healthy eating, and cut back on the work, the time I spend on the work, but I can do that by working with colleagues and delegating things and so on.
I'm just going to turn the light on because it's suddenly the sun's gone down.
Okay.
I didn't notice it until just now, and it suddenly got quite dark.
Right.
Um, sort of, was I going to say something then? Oh yeah, I was going to say that the fact that you didn't have any injuries from all the training you've done
Hmm.
is a good sign that you didn't push yourself too hard, and you
Yeah.
had a more like a good balance.
Yes, yes, that's right. And what I do when I run, I normally go out in the woods near where I live on tracks, so it's a soft surface. I don't do a lot on the road, which is a harder surface and, potentially more jarring for your
Mhm.
spine and, on your joints and so on. So I do subscribe to that sort of varied training. I do some core training, particularly on a Sunday. I used to have a Sunday as a long run, but these days I do core training, and I think the strength training actually helps as well to be able to keep the right form for running. So
Very good.
yeah, I'm quite positive about keeping going as long
Yeah,
as I
because
can. Mm.
some people actually get a bit carried away and with their training, and they
Yeah.
overdo it. Uh,
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I used to have a friend who'd do that. Who's
oh,
a
really?
marathon. He'd go out and do some amazing time, but then he'd actually knacker himself because he'd just done too much.
Yeah, yeah. That doesn't help you. Then you
No.
spend a week getting over the training, and it
Well,
sets you back.
exactly. And yes, and sometimes he'd be off running for months because he'd just damage himself with the way
There
he'd
you
go
go.
at it.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's actually, I think you achieve more by having a sensible routine.
Yes. Yes, I
So
agree.
over say a 3 month period or a 6 month period, if you go out and, as you said, knacky yourself, and you've got to spend a couple of weeks or months off in 6 months, you haven't improved very much. Whereas you, on the
Yeah.
other hand, you're chipping away at it every day over six
Yes.
months. You can make a huge difference. You could go in a
Yeah,
competition in that time because
definitely. Yeah.
3 months is kind of your conditioning, and then your other 3 months would be actually more specific and
Yeah.
taking you to your goal. So,
Yes.
are you a sort of person that has goals?
Yes, I like to have goals, and I've got business goals at the moment. But what I need to do is to get more leisure-related goals to do with the competitions that I mentioned, and get some dates in the diary. I used to compete every week when I was running at my peak, but I've got out of that habit because I went and worked abroad, and there aren't so many competitions abroad. Whereas in the UK, you can usually find something that's going on within an hour or two of where you live, practically every weekend.
Mm.
So yeah, I just need to get back in the habit. It's a matter of getting it in the diary and making sure I do the right sort of events and the right sort of preparation for them.
Yeah, because even Einstein said that if you want a happy life, tie it to a goal.
Yes, yes, definitely. No, I
It
agree with
gives you
that.
something to look forward to,
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
reason to get out of bed.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Yeah, I've got some goals that I'm trying to achieve for the rest of this year, sort of company and business related. And then I'll also have some goals to sort of set back from what I'm doing so intensely for next year and do more sport and athletics and so on.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being on my show.
Yeah.
Any
Can I
last
just
words for
mention
your?
something,
Yeah, yeah,
Kristine?
go for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You kindly let me participate in some of your modules for wellness, and I've found those really helpful. You've got a very great knowledge about diet and also uh, sort of fitness, and I relate very much to what was in your modules. I thought they were perfect. The level of detail and the information you give to people, the guidance that you give, it's spot on.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I was happy to have you in my sessions as well. Thank you very much.
I'll come back another time.
So, Alan Edwards, thank you very much. And I'm sure my viewers are going to enjoy this interview.
Thank you, Kristine.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.